Okay, well, I am thinking it's a little after 9, and why don't we just get started? Perhaps what we could do is everybody go around. I know several of you, but let's just go around and say what's brought us here today. And I will start. I'm Alison Kent with YOLO Audubon Society, and I'm a journaler, which means go out and sketchbook and a pen and potentially paints and draw and paint what I see. And I record all the species of birds I see. I try and record plants and insects and also mammals if I happen to know what they're called, but I'm more likely to know what the birds are called. So I'm going to go around in my sequence. So Angela, why don't you introduce yourself? And I know Angela from Knitting and Weaving.
Yes.
It's nice to see you here.
Nice. And we're neighbors. Angela, I'm here because Marcia had sent out the email that must have come from the Audubon Society, and I'm always eager to learn, and I know what a talented artist you are, so I'm eager to learn from you. And that's my dog barking.
Thank you. That's great. Okay. Marcia, why don't you hop in here?
Well, I've been an artist all my life, but mainly when it comes to drawing real things, I draw things that don't move. So I guess I've put off drawing birds and need a little encouragement. But since the pandemic, well, actually since before the pandemic, I've been watching birds, putting up bird feeders, listening to them. I have a little dove nest outside my studio, and I get to, and they're not easy to startle. So I get to peek at them. They're coming and going now. I guess they haven't actually mated, but it's so much fun watching them. And I don't know what they're called. I just think the miracle of flight is so amazing that, I've never been a birder. I don't think I'm going to be able to tell those little brown jobs apart ever, but I'd like to feel more comfortable drawing them.
Well, that's wonderful. Thanks, Marcia. And I will tell you that if you draw them, you learn them and then you can tell them apart. So it's a very good way to learn. Yeah. That's
how I learned art history. I drew all of paintings.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you. Sharon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I saw this in the Enterprise back in December, so I went to your January event, and I'm not much of an artist, but you said stick figures were okay, and I walk every day in my neighborhood, so I just thought it would be really nice to make some recordings of what I see.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you. Laura, would you like to go next?
Sure. I joined the group at the gracious invitation of Alison. We used to bird together not eons, but many moons ago when she lived on the East Coast. And I dabble in sketching and drawing and, all kinds of artsy fartsy kinds of things. And I really enjoy sketching and the nature journaling. So that's why I'm here. And I love your little sketches on Facebook too, Alison. They're very
thank you.
Inspiring. They're sweet.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, next on my screen is Trish. Trish, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Trish, and I also live in Davis. I have been birding since I lived in Boston about 20 years ago. I don't keep a life list or anything, but I just like to observe. And I have found in the last month that the journaling has made me much more observant, and I can identify a lot more of the species I see than I could. So there, that is definitely a side effect of drawing things. So, and I'm really enjoying it. And have committed to try to draw something every day for 30 days to try to develop one of those habit things. So
Fantastic.
my goal for the next month.
Good. Well, great. Well, thanks for coming here. This is wonderful. Marilyn, are you I think next on my screen? Would you like to introduce yourself?
I don't see Marilyn.
Maybe. Hello, Marilyn Schultz. Okay, why don't we move
Okay.
on to Jennifer? Oh,
Hi,
Marilyn's on.
Oh.
That's okay. Go for it.
Do you want me to keep going, or is Marilyn's muted, it looks like?
No, Marilyn, I think Marilyn is trying to talk, but she's muted now.
Unmute. Can
Unmute.
you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
We hear you. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I live in Woodland, and the reason I'm here is I'm curious. I read about it in the paper, and you know, I'm torn because today's Valentine's Day, and I want to fix breakfast for my husband. But I thought I could watch this, fix breakfast, and then go do what I have to do. So
Got it.
it's a little complicated.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. And
Thank you.
I just want to tell everybody that this is pretty loosey-goosey. What our plan is to have a little bit of an introduction now. Everybody go out and draw, and then everybody come back and share. And some people don't have time to come back, and it's completely fine. You know, there's no gold stars, and there's also no demerits here. So anyway, so yes, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Thank you.
Great. So Jennifer, would you like to go now?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I saw about this on the YOLO Audubon Facebook page. I'm a beginner birder. You know, I started working from home this year due to the pandemic, and I usually never walked outside during the day. But now I'm at home all day, and I see through the windows all the birds. So I wanted to really learn how to draw them and identify them. I have a journal, I have binoculars, but again, very beginner.
Fantastic. Well, this is a great way to learn your birds and to get better at drawing all in the same time. So fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And are you in Davis, Jennifer?
I am in Davis.
Fantastic. Okay. And Paula, looks like it's you up next.
Great. Yes, thank you. I'm here from a little different perspective, not as much the bird watching perspective, though I love to see my Iowa birds, but more from journal writing. So I found out about this workshop through journal writing circles, and I publish and teach journal writing, but always completely verbal. I've never included a visual element, and I'm much more of a verbal person. So I thought this would expand my range, both for my own practice and for teaching. I'm not sure whether I can go outside today because it is 9 degrees below zero, not 9 degrees below freezing, 9 degrees below zero. So if I go out, it'll be very brief. I might look out the window instead today. Thank you.
Okay. Well, where are you in Iowa, Paula? This is great.
Central Iowa. I teach at Grinnell College, which is right in the middle of the state.
No kidding. Well, that is fantastic because I'm going to just jump right in. Wow. Good for you. Thank you for coming. What is nature journaling? And those of you who've been on here before, bear with me a little bit because I do want to jump in on Joseph Grinnell, who was a biologist at UC Berkeley in the early 20th century, who encouraged his students, actually, I think he made them, I don't think there was any encouraging about it. He made them go out and with their field journals and record everything that they saw and heard, basically everything they observed. And the way he would do that, it was quite a sort of methodical system. You record the date, the time you go out, the time you return, what's the temperature, what's the rest of the weather? Is it overcast? Is it snowing? Is it raining? Is it sunny? How much wind is there? and where's the direction of the wind, all of those kinds of things. And what happened was this, is that he was able to systematize field observations over decades. And this is still a system used in a lot of ecology, biology field work. And nature journaling has really grown out of this. It's a lot less rigid. When I go out, I do always say, I remembered the temperature is, now that we have our phones and they can tell us what the temperature is easily. This is very handy. I do make a note about the wind and the cloud level. And apart from that, I do write down all the species that I am able to identify and how many. And if I don't know, if I see a gull flying high up, it's probably one of 3 species here at this time of year. But if I don't know that for sure, I would just say gull species, just so that I've got some kind of sense that there's a gull nearby. When I see a bird that is standing still long enough for me to actually get a quick drawing of it, I like to put down observations about what the bird, write down. And so, Paula, this is something that where it could come in handy for you. Write down, what is the bird doing? Is it on the ground? Is it perched on a branch? Is it foraging? Is it singing? What's it up to? And if there's any behavior that I haven't seen before, or that seems in some way remarkable, are there a couple of hummingbirds, for example, fighting over a feeder? That's actually normal hummingbird behavior here, but it's the kind of thing. Okay, what's going on? What's capturing my interest here? And those of you who said that you're not very good at drawing, I'm going to get a couple of pencils here. Birds are generally cruciform, which means that in flight, they are, they've got the body and then they've got the wings. And if they tilt, if they're veering around, if they're a turkey vulture, for instance, you'll see this cross at a different angle, and it can be very foreshortened. And in a turkey vulture particularly, I can't do it with these, but their wings make a V. These things, if you just look for a little bit, it will tell you a ton about how that bird flies. So flying birds they're difficult to draw because they're moving, and birds tend to move, and especially the little ones that are just flitting about all the time. But one way to handle that, if you're drawing and sketching, is just to quickly do a tiny drawing. And okay, so the bird moves, but it's still moved within your field of view. Draw another little one, then draw another little one. And eventually it will come back to a similar pose as the first time, and you can add a bit more. What also helps is annotating. If there's, for example, you're seeing a bird that you've never seen before, and I don't know if you all know, all of you Davisites, there is a very unusual hummingbird at 319 Antioch Drive here in Davis. It's a broad-billed hummingbird that is being very, very attached to a feeder. It's staying at this spot, and a lot of people have been to see it. And the people, the people whose house it is have been very generous, and they've opened their house to anyone who wants to go in and see it. And you just go in the gate on the back. They've got a bird likes to hang out, and they have 6 hummingbird feeders. But what alerted this couple to the fact that this was not an Anna's hummingbird, which we have a ton of here in the winter, is that it was different. And they didn't know what it was, but they knew enough to post, we have an unusual hummingbird here. We don't know what it is. Can someone come and look? And that is exactly the kinds of questions that we should always be asking ourselves when we're looking at birds. Okay, I'm seeing a little brown bird here. It looks a little unusual to me. What's unusual about it? What is different about it that's making me think this isn't a white-crowned or a golden-crowned sparrow in Davis in February? What's different about this one? And this is how we learn to observe, and it's how we learn to differentiate, and sketching can really help with this. So I'm going to stop right there and see if anybody has any questions before I go on.
Where did they post about the bird? On Nextdoor or somewhere?
No, they posted on eBird, and now
Oh.
it's on the YOLO Audubon Facebook page. So a lot of people have been posting their photos of it.
Okay.
And I want to get back over there and actually do a painting of it because it's very beautiful. It's a bright male, iridescent blue and green, very, very bright red bill. It's a beautiful bird.
Alison?
Yeah.
It's Angela. I have a question. In the very beginning, you mentioned that the fellow who started all of this had a list of things that he recommended you write down while you are outside sketching and finding stuff. Would you mind at some point, maybe in an email, sending us all that information so we know what to write?
I'm typing it right now in the chat. Give me 1 second. Day,
Okay.
time, in, out, weather, temp, wind,
Thank you.
cloud. Okay.
Yeah, and that little sketch, you have a couple of little sketches in your description for the class. I think one of those little sketches had the info in there too. That was really cute. And a recommendation for Claire Walker's book, which I did get, which is amazing.
Yes. Claire Walker Leslie. So yes, so I've got the date here. I've got the what else? I can't see. It's how long I was there, what the temperature was, and then the list of birds I saw. Okay, so what do you take with you if you're going to go on a little nature journaling outing? And obviously it depends on your preference. It depends on how much stuff you want to lug around. It depends on what time of year it is and things. But my kit that I have ready to go all the time in this backpack, so this is not a big backpack, but I always have in there, I can just grab and go, my binoculars, my journal, a pen, and I sketch with waterproof fountain pen ink in a brown color. You absolutely can work in pencil. I like pen because it's very definite, and I don't want to be tempted to erase. And I think a lot of people get, oh, well, it's not quite right, so I'm going to erase it. And you spend your time erasing rather than looking. So I kind of weaned myself off the pencil pretty early. I have a small travel set of watercolors. I have a little tripod stool that rolls up. It's quite clever. It rolls up, and then it disattaches to the top, and it's quite lightweight, and so it's easy for me to carry. I don't like heavy stuff on my shoulders. I always have a hat, and that hat will change according to the weather. I always have a cut-off sock, which I put around my left wrist to clear off my water pen, my watercolor brush. I just see, okay, is this the right color? And I just wear it in here, and occasionally I'll throw it in the washing machine. And it's,
What was that last thing?
I have a series of washes. Water are these things here, which have their own. Sorry.
What was that last thing? A cut of what?
Sock.
A cut-off sock. A sock.
Oh, cut sock.
So you cut off the foot.
Mm-hmm.
So cut off. So it's just the cuff of the sock. This is a Niji, actually, no, this is a Pentel water brush. So it has water in here. And then you just paint with this, here. It's hard for me to show you. But it's very handy because you don't need a ton of brushes and you don't need to bring water with you. Going out in the field, that can be kind of messy. Fingerless mitts, again, depending on how cold it is. I bring a handkerchief and I bring a bandana to clear my optics if I need to. Don't let my husband hear that, it makes him crazy. And paper towels, if needed. I don't usually bring them. I'm not doing big washes of color. I'm doing small little, it's like a coloring book level of coloring in. I'm not covering big skies. And I sometimes will do that. I'll come home and do that kind of thing later. But in the field, I'm usually just working on detailed work. Now, this weekend happens to be the Great Backyard Bird Count. And I am going to encourage you, if you'd like to, I mean, we don't have to do this, but I am going to do it, which is they want this to be at least 15 minutes long, which is not a problem for us. You go out and you record every bird that you see. And it doesn't have to be your backyard. It could be your front yard. It could be the arboretum. It could be from your window. Paula and Laura, you might be doing that. Although, yeah. And just basically make a record of all of the birds that you see and or hear, and try and draw some of them. And they're encouraging people to do their photos of people or photos of birds. I would also say drawings are fair game here. So please don't feel obliged to do this, but if you look back birdcount.org, it happens at Citizen Science, it's happening world. And it runs from yesterday through the end of tomorrow. So if anybody would like to do that, I encourage you to go ahead and just sign in, upload your stuff, and upload your observations. If you get caught up in I can't figure out eBird, send me what you saw, and I'll do it for you. It's okay. We can do that as part of our nature journaling workshop together. Okay, I am seeing that Ken Ely is joining us. Ken, would you like to say hello? And because we are just about to head out here. Well, maybe this isn't working.
It says he's still connecting to audio.
Yeah, it sees that. Okay, so what are people's time restrictions here? Marilyn, I know you have breakfast to make and then, Valentine's Day obligations. I do get it. Does anyone else have any I need to stop this absolutely no later than noon.
I'm fine.
Really going that long in any of these previous events?
Yeah, I'm under a little bit of a constraint, with the time change, but I like the idea about sketching, for the backyard bird count.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a point to do that later on today, and most definitely tomorrow when we're getting our little ice storm.
Oh my God. Okay. God, Laura, I'm so sorry. I am just replying to something in the chat here. Pilot Metropolitan and the Atramantis document ink. This ink, Marcia, is it's a fantastic ink because it doesn't clog fountain pens, but it's permanent. So you can do watercolor over it without it smudging. I love it.
Yeah.
It's not inexpensive. It's not inexpensive, but
like
it's
graph ink or something?
No, it is. I will show you. It's an actual.
Oh.
It's an actual fountain pen ink, but it's not, it's waterproof.
Oh, I've been looking for something like that for some time.
It comes in several colors. It comes in quite a nice gray. And if you like fountain pens, I'm a self-confessed fountain pen hoarder.
Yeah.
And at least they're small, there's that part. But it comes in multiple different colors.
Oh, I'll look it up.
Yeah, this one's gray, urban gray. Yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, it really works well. So it doesn't clog your pen, which is nice.
What's your favorite pen at this point today?
Today is this very inexpensive, very nicely weighted Pilot Metropolitan. This is a student grade pen. It's one of the best pens I've ever had. Well, and it's $15. And I have paid a very great deal more for pens than this, I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful because it's such a minefield out there trying to figure it out. I've bought so many pens.
Yeah, and there are lots of great pens actually that are fantastic for sketching. I really like the Uniball Signo. Do I have any of those here? I don't know that I have one right here to show you, but the Micron.
I have those. Yeah.
The Microns, they're also waterproof, so that's a nice pen to sketch with.
Yeah.
If you're going to put a wash over it.
Exactly.
You can also obviously use colored pencils. You can use, but I like watercolor because you can mix the exact color that you want, and it's pretty. I have a small set here. Where the hell is it? Which it's handy. I can. This is my set. It's just pan watercolor with a few here. Messy. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. This is mine. I put my own color in it.
Yeah.
Allison, I went out last week and I found.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I found this really neat set here. This is Pentel, and it's got 5 different sizes, and it's ink, they say, for sketching and drawing. And I think it was like maybe $10,
Yes, these are great pens. This is a gel pen that you have to let it dry a bit, but once it's dry, it is waterproof.
It is what? Okay, good.
Yeah. So those are great. And they very, and it's a beautiful line. I see a couple people have joined us here, and I want to just check in with them before we all head out. Ken, would you like to say hello and say what brings you here, and are you going to join us on the Great Backyard Bird Count today?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Thank you.
Can you? And I'm sitting in the dark.
You seem to be, yes.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm all tilted because all right. What was the question?
What brings you here today?
I'm afraid I'm kind of intimidated for being here right now because it sounds like there's a whole group of pros here, but I've never done it. I've never done it, so something's wrong with my camera. But anyway, so I thought I'd give it a try and figure out what's going on with this in this world of nature journaling.
Well, great, Ken. When everybody goes out, I can give you a quick. This is what we're up to today, but we're going to be doing the Great Backyard Bird Count if people want. It's not a requirement, but I will be doing that, and I'm encouraging everyone here to do it if they want to.
Oh, okay.
So that, again, one more time, is birdcount.org. And I'm encouraging you to upload your drawings and or photos if you would like to. It's not a requirement, but this is the weekend. So
okay, to the Bird Count people.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
birdcount.org, and it's actually, you upload it through eBird, but you kind of are
Right,
signing
right.
up through them. Yeah. Camille, I would love to just check in with you before we all take a break here. And thank you for coming. It's nice to see you.
Hi, it's good to see you. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I'm joining because I have heard about nature journals. I've not kept one. My niece has been keeping an interesting version of a nature journal, and it's really inspired me. I'm a terrible drawer, but that's not the point. And I thought that it would be really a good way of both coupling a little discipline and a little creativity. So I wanted to learn more about it and how it works and how to approach it, because it feels intimidating.
Okay, so fantastic. What we've been saying earlier, you and Ken both came in a little later, but drawing birds or drawing animals or drawing plants is a really good way to get better at drawing and better at identification. And it's a lot of fun. When I do it, my head is not thinking about the pandemic. It's not thinking about politics. So it's a great way to just get out of your head. So I encourage you all to do that. What I'm going to do now, it's 9:30-ish. I'm going to suggest that we take an hour till 10:30. Does that sound good to people? Do people want more? I'm not recommending that we go very far because it's the backyard bird count. Does an hour sound like enough time for most people?
Yeah.
Alison, I have a question first. You're recording this, correct?
Yes, we are.
Because I have a commitment that I need to get to, so I won't be able to come back. So
Okay.
You will provide us with the recording?
So what I think is happening with these recordings, and Ken might actually know a bit more than this, is that they get edited and then they get posted to the YOLO Audubon website.
Okay.
So what we're planning on doing, so we're going to go out for an hour and then reconvene here. And when we reconvene, we'll share what we've done. And please, stick figures are fine. I'm going to repeat this a million times. Recording whatever way that helps you make sense of what it is that's in front of you. Okay, so that was a long sentence, but basically the gist of it is just go out and have fun and do it. And those of you who can't go out because it's sub-zero, please stay inside, but have fun doing the same thing.
Are we drawing pictures of birds or plants or anything, or
anything, Marilyn? Anything natural. This is a nature journal. I mostly focus on birds because it's what interests me, and it's what I'm most likely to see in my backyard, other than plants that have been planted. Not so many insects this time of year, although there are some. We haven't had enough cold to kill them all. But me, I'm mostly going to be doing birds. And if you know what it's called, fantastic. And if you don't, try and find out as much about it as you can to come back and ask other people to help you identify it. That's another way. And this is one of the things, is if it's something that you don't recognize, put down as much about it as you can to be able to find out about it afterwards or ask other people. Okay, so Marsha, we will, if you would like to send in what you've done afterwards, I'm going to put my my email in the chat in case people will not be able to come back but would like to send me their stuff. That's my email. And otherwise, let us reconvene here at around 10:30. Does that sound okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop the recording now, or I'll stop the recording now, and then I'll start it again when we all come back together at 10:30. Okay?
Sounds great.
Sound good? Okay, well, I'm not sure how many more people are going to be joining us. Oh, there's Trish. Good. Okay. Aisha, can you hear me? Aisha joined us after we had all gone outside, and I don't know if she's there or if she's out drawing or what she's doing, but I've got her name down. So, great. Well, how did people get on? I've heard from a couple of people, but why don't you share with the whole group? Starting with you, Marcia. That would be great.
Okay. Well, I found my little folding stool backpack combination, and because it was cold sitting on the concrete. I set out and drew. First I used a Sharpie marker, and then I used a Micron. And I came back inside to paint because I just wasn't organized enough to paint outside. And I drew things that didn't move because I didn't see any birds. But I had a nice time. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's great. If you want to talk, then you'll be
Oh, okay. So
excellent. Yeah.
So I have kind of a sketchy or elliptical style. And I do like to draw and then fill in with some color afterwards anyway.
Well, I like this because you're capturing some of this overcast feel with your shadows are not super pronounced.
Yeah.
And I like this suggestion of vegetation, not super detailed. It's very effective. This looks great.
Thank you. I've done a lot of detailed stuff, but I prefer something that's less detailed.
Yeah, good. Fantastic.
Nice. Fun.
Yeah. Marilyn, would you like to share how you got along?
Okay, I got along very well. I went out about 3 different times. The first time I just went out without anything just to see if there were any birds. And there were some really big birds with big wings. I mean, not really big, but maybe swallow type. I don't know if it's swallow time, but then I went back in to get my sketch pad, and then they had gone, and I saw one in a birch tree on the top. It was just beautiful, but it moved. And then that was that. So I did the tree without the bird, hoping the bird would come back, but it never did.
Yes. Okay.
Then when I went out again, I saw some on telephone wires. And that's where I saw the most, on telephone wires. And then nothing. So I painted a daffodil. And that was it. Yeah.
But that's good. Painting daffodils is good because they don't move. And also it's good to be training your eye to focus on something that intently. So good.
Yeah.
Sharon, how's it go? How did it go with you?
Well, when I opened my door, I heard lots of different birds, and I identified a mourning dove and crow calls and geese flying over, and I saw quite a few seagulls. And then when I walked around, I heard lots of chirping birds and saw lots of little birds flitting in the treetops, but I couldn't identify any of those.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah, lots of birds.
Ken, you are up.
I refuse to participate because I am overwhelmed by the talent here, and my ego just really cannot handle it. Well,
don't be a daft. You're being daft. That's daft.
I am daft. I got a chair, set it by the slider, and I seeded it last night. So I had some birds that were in the yard, and I had my coffee handy. Okay, I hope you're all sitting down. What I have here is I'm really not bad. A spotted towhee, and the spots in the wing aren't so hot, but I tried to get the picture before he flew up to the fence and into the neighbor's shrub. The junco here, kind of giving the eye, and these are unfinished, so I won't be selling them in the lobby. This is a junco who was eyeing a white-crowned sparrow who actually are bullies. Okay. This is a house finch. I don't know how the weather people do this. This is a house finch pecking down on seeds, and I didn't get the brick in or its spots. And then there is a scrub jay that came in and sat on one of the little river boulders and surveyed the land.
Yeah.
Basically, I started, so we're going to get into technique here, with an HB, and then filled in with the, what is that? Whoa, I thought it was a 6, an 8B. And then smudged a little bit in the blacks. And so I need to work on feet and bill head combinations. Every 6 months I get it right.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that. I need to do that too. And I agree. I love them. I don't know what you're so.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the
funny about.
Tully's a little bit longer for his body.
Well, that's okay though. I mean,
but
yeah.
he's kind of stretched out. It didn't have room for the tail, and I tried to get the white corner in the tail. And the Junco, I gave up on the white outer feathers, but I decided to go with the black and white and stuff like that. So
the scrub jay really looks like a scrub jay. I mean, I could tell immediately that that's what it was.
Yay!
Yeah, yeah. No, fantastic. Yeah.
So that was me.
There you go. Well, good. Thank you. Trish, would you like to share what you saw and how you made out?
Sure thing. I just sat in the backyard, since it's the backyard count, and I as others have said, I could hear a lot more than I actually saw. I saw mostly birds flying over, and then a few in the ash trees, which we have all around here where I live. So I saw let's see, 3 doves flying over, a couple of different flocks of gulls flying way high, a couple of turkey vultures who were flying not together. They came one after another, but they were flying northwest. They weren't circling. And then I was working really hard on one bird that was flitting around in my ash tree. It had a very, very pointy beak. I didn't try to draw it because I couldn't ever really get a good solid look at it. I thought maybe it had a white tipped tail and yellowish sides. So I don't know what that, but these are my drawings. I was really working on trying to get the gulls in flight. So I was working on the different angles like you had talked about. And then this is my dog who sat down in the yard with me.
I love that. I'm going to guess that the little bird with the pointy beak that you saw was a yellow-rumped warbler, because they're around now. They're small and they have a very fine bill. Yeah. So look that up online or in a book if you've got one, and see if that sounds about right.
All right.
But I love your line work, Trish. I love how your lines are very committed. It's great. No, it's good. I think it's really helpful to not become a slave to the eraser.
Yeah, I used a pen, so
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, fantastic. Jennifer, would you like to share?
Sure. If you don't mind, I'll share my screen so I don't have to hold this. Oh wait, never mind. I can't share my screen.
Oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know. Meeting settings. Okay. Hold on.
I can hold it up. So I saw 4 scrub jays, 7 chickadees, which I think are chickadees or some sort of small brown species, 24 gulls, pretty high flying, 3 turkey vultures, and then I saw a hawk species. I did not know what it was. We usually have a pair of Swanson hawks that live in the neighborhood, but from what I understand, they migrate in the winter. But I didn't think it was them, and it didn't call, so I wasn't sure what it was. And these are very rudimentary because I was walking my dog and wrangling my 3-year-old daughter. But I don't know if you can see this. Oh, it's not showing. Hold on. Let me turn off my background filter. Let's see if that worked. Okay. So I don't know what it is. It had like an amber colored tail. It had a distinct black line under its belly, and some speckling, but again, very rudimentary because I was walking my dog in.
See, now this is it. What you had there was a red-tailed hawk because
Oh.
you observed that it had an amber tail, that this definite line across the belly and the wings. That is what you need to be doing when you don't know what it is. Write down as much as you can see and remember.
That's exciting. I didn't think there
It's fantastic. No, this is great. This is why we do this.
All right. So that's what I saw.
Exhibit A, Jennifer. Thank you. That's fantastic. Well, great. I'm so glad you did that. All right, Paula, I know in your sub-zero, 000, you probably did not go outside, but.
Well, I decided to brave the cold for a few minutes. So I bundled up and I went out. I have been seeing in recent days cardinals and nuthatches. I was really hoping one of those would perch, but mainly like others, I heard more than I saw. I heard crow cawing. I heard some little cheeps and twitters that I couldn't identify. And I ended up, this is the first time I've ever done this. So like, Ken, really, you are so far more experienced than I am, but this is what I came up with. Let's see if I can, how much of it I can get. I got, really, I tried to do winter. I tried to do the icicles. I tried to do snow on a branch. And I did have one bird in flight, and it helped me so much that you mentioned cruciform, because this little bird far above
this is
me,
it.
but you know, just even that little speck, I got something bird-like even with just a dot. And so I felt really excited about that. Anyway, it's the first time I've done this, and I'm kind of excited about some of the detail. I did frost on the window pane, and I think there's really something which others are also demonstrating about close observation and trying to capture a few lines and then seeing something that you probably couldn't have seen otherwise. So I'm really excited and want to do a lot more of this.
Well, I'm so glad, Paula, and I thank you for joining us. And I really hope you do keep doing it. It's fun. And as a teacher, I don't know if you know this, but because people have different learning styles, note-taking with drawings is a really great way for a lot of people to learn better. So I encourage you to encourage others. So yeah. Fantastic. All right, Camille, have you got something that you would like to share with us?
Sure. So I've also never done this, and I'll go up and down because my thing is a long, skinny notebook. So I started out, I saw a scrub jay sitting on a branch of a pomegranate tree, and I live in a development called Village Homes where we don't have fences between yards, so you see a very large area. So my backyard is kind of largish. So this was actually across in my neighbor's yard. I actually, like everyone else, heard way more birds than I saw. And the birds were, many of them were small little brown jobs that I'm beyond amateur birder. I'm so novice, I only know that they're small brown birds. And I saw a lot of birds in silhouette because I was looking up into trees. So most of my birds are actually very silhouetted. There was a crow that I saw. I heard a mourning dove, but I could never find the mourning dove. I saw lots of little sparrowy like birds, or maybe they were warblers, I don't know. I saw a formation of 14, I was able to count them, Canada geese flying off to the west-southwest, or south-southwest actually, I guess. Presumably they were going out to find mid-morning brunch on a Sunday. Yeah, so I did not.
Fantastic.
I had to take my dog out also, and so I didn't get a chance to add any color, but I was going to go back in and just add a little bit of colored pencil, which I really like using.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's not messy. colored pencil has the advantage of being very of clean medium. So, right. So
the other thing I would note was that everyone looked much larger than they probably ordinarily would because it's a little chilly outside, and so it's not cold, but they were a little puffed up. So I felt like the
they're all
birds were
puffed up.
rounder
Yeah.
than they might ordinarily be.
Great. Well, thank you. You know, and I actually I love your drawings. I think the main thing is people often get birds' legs the direction that they go wrong because they think they know what a leg does, and you were getting them right. So just be aware that legs are hard and feet are very hard, but you got them right. All right, so we have somebody who joined while we were all outside, and I don't know if she is on yet. Ayesha, can you hear me? All right. Okay, so I'm going to say what I found because I found a very cool thing. This is an eruption year for some of our northern bird visitors, such as pine siskins, but I found an entire tree just behind my backyard fence full of purple finches. And I haven't seen this winter, I've never seen more than one or two at a time. And I'm going to see if I can share this. I'm not sure this is going to work. No. All right, so I'll do this. But so what they were doing was they were eating the buds of a flowering plum tree. And I didn't know why were they all female. There were like 13 of these birds in the same tree. And these look on the face of it, they look like house finch females. They're a speckled, small brown bird. But what makes them different from house finches, first of all, the brown is it's a cooler brown, and they have a strong eyebrow stripe. And they also have a stripe below the eye that is buff colored. And then they have a thicker bill. And I've never noticed this before, but I think I've noticed it now. Their forehead is a bit steeper than a house finch's forehead. So because I was able to get a good long look at them, I was able to start noticing stuff like that. And then I was hearing a finch in the front that did not sound like a house finch. And sure enough, it was a male purple finch singing. And so I went in the front and drew that. I wasn't able to get the back of it, but I did note that the color in the rump just above the tail is a much deeper raspberry red than what is on the face and chest and upper back. So that was very cool for me. I did see a couple. I had a common raven fly over. I also had a red-tailed hawk. Maybe it's the same one that Jennifer saw. Just mine was going from here. It was going kind of south-southeast. And then American robins, one yellow-runt warbler, two house finches, an Anna's hummingbird, one bush tit, and you never see just one bush tit. So I think that the others were all just behind the house, and a mourning dove. So it was it. So I was very excited. This was a really exciting morning. I've never seen that many purple finches all together anywhere in the world, and I'm super stoked about it. So I may go back out and hang out with them a bit more and do a few more drawings. Okay, so does anyone have any? Yes, Sharon.
So is that on a street where you can go look at them?
Well, it's actually at my house. If you'd like to come, you are very. Oh, you know what it is? You know that the streets in Old North Davis have little alleyways between them.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but if you go down 6th, between E and F, between E and F, there's a little alleyway, and just go down there about halfway down, and there's a big flowering plum tree,
Okay.
And all of these birds are just, my house number is 61 East. And where I saw the male was out front. So that's right on the street.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and you're be welcome to come over. In fact, I'm going to put my phone number in the chat in case anybody would like to ask more. Okay. Yeah, very exciting. It was very exciting. I mean, they are really just brown birds, but they don't belong here normally. This is a huge deal to see so many of them in winter here in Davis. It's cool. So this is why paying attention to the little details. This is not like the other birds that are here all the time. What about it is different? And in the purple finch's case, the females, it's always that top eye stripe that gets me. Okay, this is definitely not a house finch. What is it? Okay. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to ask or say? I put a couple of other things in the chat. I encourage you all to check out John Muir Laws. He has a wonderful website with a lot of wonderful tips. He does a nature journaling workshop every Tuesday and Thursday at noon Pacific. He's an incredibly generous teacher, and he has a couple of great books. One of them is specifically about nature journaling. And as Laura said earlier, Claire Walker Leslie has a great nature journaling book as well. There are lots. Just you can be looking, but those are two very good ones to start with. And Laura, here she's back. My recommendation is to just do this a little bit often is much better than marathons. As learning so many, it's there's a bird out my window. What is it? Doodle it and keep going. Laura, welcome back. How did you get along?
Thank you. I'm sorry?
How did you get on?
Oh, I just clicked on the Zoom link that you sent.
No. I mean, how did you make out with your?
Oh,
were you able to get any drawing done? Sorry.
No, I wasn't, because I had to run an errand to get my eyeglasses fixed. But I did do a drawing at a bird feeder a couple of, not too long ago, and I can share that with you, because mine will look very similar to, to this one. But other than that, I look forward to sketching my feeders.
Yeah, you probably got some very different birds than we have right now. What I had a great find was a tree full of female purple finches, which is crazy. Nice. I've never seen that many together. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, folks. Well, if nobody has anything else that they would like to ask or say or show, maybe we can wrap up for now. And we do this on the second Sunday of every month at 9 a.m. Pacific. You are always welcome. You are always welcome to bring your friends. But I do hope that between now and March, you will be able to do a few more little sketches and notes outside. And yeah, it's good. I think it's good for us to get out and do something a little bit different and a bit healthier than just, eating, which is what I've been doing for the entire pandemic. I'm not going to lie. Okay.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Alison.
For coming. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.